Assad leaving Syria, a turning point for the Middle East. If Bashar al-Assad were to leave Syria, it would mark one of the most consequential shifts in the country's long and tumultuous history. For nearly 15 years, Assad has been the central figure in a brutal civil war that has left Syria fractured, with hundreds of thousands dead and millions displaced. His departure would have far-reaching implications not only for Syria, but for the broader Middle East, involving regional power dynamics, international alliances, and the future of the Syrian people. The impact on Syria Assad's departure could pave the way for a new chapter in Syria's history, but the country would face profound challenges. The war has left Syria in ruins, with significant portions of its infrastructure destroyed and its economy in tatters. The population is deeply divided, and the political landscape is fragmented, with numerous factions vying for power and influence. The immediate aftermath of Assad leaving could see a power vacuum, potentially exacerbating internal strife and creating opportunities for extremist groups to regain a foothold. A transitional government or a negotiated peace agreement could bring hope for stabilization. However, any such process would need to be inclusive of all Syrians, Sunni Arabs, Kurds, Alawites, and others, to avoid further entrenching sectarian divisions. The prospects of rebuilding the country would require international support and a long-term commitment to reconstruction. Regional implications. Assad's departure would signal a shift in the balance of power in the Middle East. Since the start of the Syrian conflict in 2011, Assad has been backed by powerful allies such as Russia and Iran, while facing opposition from Western nations and Sunni Arab states. The departure of Assad could weaken Iran's influence in Syria, as Tehran has been a key supporter of the regime, providing military, financial, and political assistance. This might change the geopolitics of the region, especially as Iran's regional ambitions are a source of tension with Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States. Russia, which has used its military support to keep Assad in power, would also face a new reality. While Moscow might still seek to maintain a strong influence in Syria, the absence of Assad could lead to shifts in alliances and strategic priorities. The Syrian Kurds, who have been supported by the United States in the fight against ISIS, would likely play a significant role in the post-Assad era, potentially complicating relations between the U.S. and its regional allies. For the Gulf states, Assad's departure could be an opportunity to re-engage with Syria, particularly if a new, more moderate government emerges. However, there would also be concerns about the rise of Islamist factions or continued instability. The future of Syria's ties to countries like Turkey and Lebanon would be uncertain, with each of these nations having different interests in the conflict. International responses. The international community would play a critical role in managing Syria's post-Assad era. Western nations, which have largely opposed Assad's rule, might support a transition toward democracy, but their influence is limited. Russia and Iran's support for Assad could complicate any effort to broker a peaceful transition. Furthermore, there would be questions around accountability for war crimes committed during the conflict. Any effort to hold Assad or his regime accountable could create tensions with Russia and other allies. The United Nations, which has struggled to mediate peace talks throughout the war, would likely take a central role in post-Assad negotiations. However, achieving a consensus among the various international players, especially with so many competing interests, would be a difficult task. The people of Syria. Above all, the future of Syria depends on the will and aspirations of its people. For many Syrians, Assad's regime has come to symbolize tyranny, corruption, and the crushing of dissent. The departure of Assad would be seen by many as a victory for those who have long suffered under his rule, but it is unlikely to heal the wounds of war overnight. Reconciliation, justice, and rebuilding trust among the population will be monumental challenges. Many Syrians have been displaced, and the diaspora plays a significant role in shaping the future of the nation. For those still inside Syria, the transition to a post-Assad government could be fraught with uncertainty, but it would also represent an opportunity for new leadership, governance, and possibly a more inclusive society. Conclusion. Assad leaving Syria would represent a dramatic turning point in a long and tragic conflict. While his departure could potentially open the door to peace and reconstruction, it would not come without significant challenges. The political, regional, and international ramifications would be profound, and the road ahead would be fraught.